Greetings, thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Friday, October 8, 2021. For today's editorial, China playing brinkmanship game again. Over a period of 4 days beginning Friday last week, 140 Chinese warplanes flew into Taiwan's air defense identification zone, triggering what the Taiwanese defense minister described as the most serious buildup of tensions between the two in more than 40 years. Minister Chiu Ho-cheng also warned that China could mount a full-scale invasion of Taiwan by 2025. He noted that about 380 Chinese warplanes entered Taiwan's air defense zone last year, and more than 600 such intrusions have taken place so far this year. Not only that, Beijing now has 2 aircraft carriers and is going full speed in building submarines, destroyers, and amphibious assault vehicles. The minister could be over-dramatizing the issue. A more serious crisis erupted in 1996 when China test-fired missiles in waters close to Taiwan, hoping to intimidate the Taiwanese into rejecting a presidential candidate who Beijing suspected of having pro-independence views. But the fact remains that the latest incursions come at a time when the Asia-Pacific region is seeing an escalation of military posturing between global superpowers China and the United States. Beijing has been harrying Taipei ever since the Kuomintang forces retreated to Taiwan in 1949. The strait that separates the island from the mainland is in a constant state of political turbulence. The latest Chinese provocation is not a knee-jerk reaction, but a calculated response to events that Beijing feels required a strong pushback. In this case, it could be a confluence of events that began last month when a US Navy-guided missile destroyer and Coast Guard cutter sailed through the Taiwan Strait. Not long after, Taiwan's military submitted for legislation an $8.8 billion special budget to modernize its aging arsenal. Beijing has criticized the creation of a security alliance between the US, Australia, and the United Kingdom designed to counter the growing dominance of China in the Asia-Pacific. Beijing has long chided the US for supplying Taiwan with weapons. It was naturally chagrined when in August, the Biden administration approved a $750 million arms deal with Taiwan, which includes self-propelled howitzers and kits to convert conventional projectiles into more precise GPS-guided munitions. The US has been making negative moves by selling arms to Taiwan and strengthening official and military ties with Taiwan, including the launch of a $750 million arms sale plan to Taiwan, the landing of US aircraft in Taiwan, and frequent sailing of US warships across the Taiwan Strait, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman summed up. China could also be teasing Taiwan in revealing its level of readiness against an all-out attack from across the strait. The display of air power also coincided with China's National Day on October 1, usually a time for whipping up patriotic pride. Beijing has mastered the game of brinkmanship and is apparently playing it again. It has constantly threatened to use military force in its standoff with Taiwan, but stops short of starting a shooting war. It is fully aware that the US will not sit idly by if an armed conflict breaks out with Taiwan. China will continue to rattle the saber without unsheathing it. On economic cost, the Philippines cannot afford war breaking out of its northern border. There are 147,000 Filipinos in Taiwan, most of them migrant workers who will be put in harm's way. The economic cost of conflict could also be devastating. Trade between the Philippines and Taiwan totaled $8.25 billion in 2019, making us Taiwan's 14th largest trading partner. Taiwan is also the Philippines' 10th largest source of foreign investment, with the total investments reaching $54 million. US President Joe Biden is trying to ease the tension, saying he has talked with Chinese President Xi Jinping about Taiwan and agreed to abide by the Taiwan Agreement. Biden was referring to the Nixonian One China doctrine, in which Washington diplomatically recognizes Beijing as long as China leaves Taiwan alone. Japan and Australia are also urging Taipei and Beijing to talk things over. The tension must be diffused. One miscalculation, one hair-trigger response is all it takes to ignite a war. And that's the editorial for Friday, October 8, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.